Hi everyone, my name is Beth and welcome back. And today I just want to go over a couple things that I'm doing. The last video I did was on the bunching onions. So I want to show you, um, how much they've grown. And also I did lettuce. I started January 8th and also January 10th. And I started spinach on January 8th, but I am doing the cut and come again on the lettuce. So I want to show you how that is done. And also today I am going to be starting rosemary. That can take up to 25 days to germinate. The rosemary and also the stevia. So I did have a packet of stevia and I got that from Baker's Creek. And I love Baker's Creek, nothing against them, but there was only 12 seeds in there, and they do disclose that, or 15, I think 15 seeds. And the stevia is a very, very tiny little seed, and I know for them to harvest the seed, it's really hard from what I understand. So it's a more expensive seed. But I went ahead on Johnny's and so at Baker's Creek for the 15 stevia seeds, it cost me, I think it was $4. So I went on to Johnny's and I believe for 50 seeds, with tax and everything, I think it was 6 something. So I went ahead and ordered that and I got that in. So I am going to be planting that. And I do want to put that in my plant sale. So that's one of the reasons why I want so many seeds. And then the rosemary, I started some, I think last week. So I do want to start some more of that because it is a slow grower and germination can be hard with rosemary. So I want to get that going. So I'm doing that today. The other thing I'm going to be doing is starting my some more lettuce, but I want to get the head lettuce. And the head lettuce can take anywhere from 50 to 70 days to form that head. So today is, I think it's January 28th. So I want to get that going because you figure January 28th. It's quick to germinate. So the end of February would be about 30 days. So we're looking towards the end of March for me to have the full head lettuce. And I will be doing succession planting with those heads. So I want to show you how I do the lettuce because I'm going to do them in small cells and I will thin it out to one head and then I will transplant them into a larger container and I can move those outside on the good days. And I also have my greenhouse. I figure every night I'll just put the lettuce in my greenhouse. If it gets too hot during the day, which it could. I mean, I'll just check the temperature and we'll see how that all goes. But anyhow, I want to show you my onions that I got started. I did do an experiment with my bunching onions. I used seeds from 2022, which they're not really that old. And I did get good germination. I do have one more packet, from 2019, which I'm tempted to try that because that's a much older one. Because they say every year for onions, the germination rate goes down by 50%. So in the past years that I've done bunching onions, I have never really paid attention to the date that it was packaged for in the seed packet. So, and I've always had great germination. So I am going to try the one from 2019. I think I'm talking myself into it. And I did start for an experiment some Craig's Grande peppers and also some Ace 55 tomatoes, and they've been under the LED green light, but I was doing an experiment between the LED and the fluorescent light, and they both had the same identical results with germination. So it's the 45 watt LED, and it is a counter one, which I'll go ahead and show you in my setup on the shelves. But I know right now I got 5. Oh, that's Abby. I got 5. Well, I got another little one that's germinating now. So that would be 6 tomato plants. And it's the Ace 55, so it's semi Indeterminate is where it can grow. Just keep right on growing over 6 feet high, with good support. Determinate is where it only grows a certain height. So it's semi, so I'm just going to put like one or two in a container. And when it gets nice enough, in a larger container, when it gets nice enough, I am going to move it into my greenhouse and I'm going to see how that goes rather than just wasting that seed. And then I also started some Craig's Grande in that experiment, and I will be uppotting those into another pot. So today, yes, I'm going to get the rosemary, stevia, celery. Celery does take a while too. The back of the package, let's see what it says here. 14 to 21 days to germinate. Days to maturity is 80 to 90. So the maturity date is from the date that you get from the date of germination. So if it takes 20, I know celery, it does take a while. And I got these from M.I. Gardner. It's a pink plume celery. So I want to get that going now. It says start indoors 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost. Our last frost in our area is predicted around April 27th. So I know I'm early, but I should hopefully have an early harvest on the celery. Plus, I just want to try it. I've never grown celery before, so... and then the lettuce, I am going to be planting a Paris Island. It's a type of romaine. Here is a lettuce Pablo. So I want to go ahead and try that for a head. And I like the crispiness of a lettuce head. So I don't mind the cut and come again. But that's just a leafy lettuce. And any of these can be leafy. And I'll show you what I mean. And then I'm also going to try the little gem. And this is, well, it doesn't say how long before it forms the head. It sprouts in 7 to 10 days. And lettuce, it's a cool weather crop. So that's another reason why I want to get started early. But I also have the greenhouse, so I can move everything in there on the days that I know it's going to snow or we're going to have low temperatures. So I do have that leverage. Or you could bring them in the house, but they're a cooler, once it gets up to like 80 degrees plus, your lettuce could start bolting. So the other one I'm going to try is the iceberg lettuce. And 80 to 90 days to maturity. So I want to get these going early. I do, again, have that greenhouse. So, which I'm sure will come into play with the lettuce. And, I'm going to plant these in little cells, probably 2 to 3 cells in each one, or 2 to 3 seeds in each cell. And I'm going to have to thin them. And I'll show you when it gets to that point. And then I will be putting them in a larger pot. So I'm not going to be doing a whole bunch at once. I am going to do succession starts with my lettuce. So I'll be doing that today. Sweet marjoram. Now that takes 14 to 21 days for germination. Start indoors 6 to 8 weeks early. And the other thing, though, is I also do that plant sale. So I want to make sure I have some nice herbs, nice plant-sized herbs to sell. And the other is sage, 7 to 21 days to germinate. And so I know it sounds like I'm starting some of these early, but in reality, I don't think I am because, especially the herbs, because you want to have a nice plant if you're selling them. And as far as the head lettuce, I just want some head lettuce. And it will take a while. It'll take 70 to 80 days, or 50 to 70 days on most of those lettuces that I'll be planting, like the romaine, the iceberg. And I think I went over the stevia. And all right, so I'm going to show you the onions. I'm also going to show you how I pre-wet my soil before putting the seeds in. And so we'll go ahead and get started. All right. Okay, so I moved this over to my sink, and I do have a sprayer on here. So I am going to, this is all dry. It's a very light potting soil. And this I bought from our local greenhouse and commercial greenhouse. And this is what they use to start all their seeds in. And it's Maria Gardens, if you're familiar with them. But their potting soil is very light. It doesn't have a bunch of sticks. I might see a couple in here, but nothing, you know, like my favorite is Happy Frog potting soil. And you can find a lot of sticks. They're still breaking down in the potting soil. So anyhow, this is a very light potting soil. So that's what I'm using to start the rosemary, the stevia, and some of the lettuce. So when I wet it down, I'm going to use my sprayer hose just so I don't make a big mess. And just wet everything down really good. And when I do my peppers, I'll show you how I pre-moisten my soil when I do that. It's a little bit different. Okay, so let me go ahead. After you get it a little wet, you're going to go ahead and just go like this with it. And you're going to notice the soil drops. And if you find any big sticks in there, unless you're using a seed starting mix, you're not going to find any in that. So I'm going to go ahead and top this off with a little more soil, because it dropped down about a half an inch or an inch in some. So it's important to do that tapping down on it. Otherwise, when you go to water it, it's just going to sink, and it's going to be a lot lower than you anticipated when you planted your seed. And I'm just going to wet it again. And if you find, you know, little sticks or anything, you want to take that out of there and break up any little clumps of soil. Actually, I'm going to add a little more to some of the cells where it dropped down. And removing any sticks that you might find. And wet that down again. And tap it. Let that soil settle so you can actually see, you know, what you're dealing with. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with where it's at right now. So I'm going to move it over and start adding my seed. I'll add this over here. Okay, so I went ahead and got my markers ready for the stevia. I'm going to do 2 of these. And now on Johnny's, it was approximately 50 seeds. And I put these in a small little glass, but I'll show you. These seeds are so tiny. And you want to be really careful with them. Oop, sorry about that. I don't know if you could see how. Anyhow, that little black speck is, there's a couple seeds right there. So in the cell, I am going to drop probably 3 seeds in each one. And I have 12 cells, and these are the larger cells. So anywhere from 3 to 4 seeds. And these are just on the surface. And I am just going to press the seed into the soil rather than putting more dirt on top. And actually, that's it. So right now, I'm just pressing the seed in so it has good contact with the soil. Maybe move a little dirt on top. And the white you see in here is the perlite that's in the potting soil. Okay, so that is the stevia. So for my plant sale, I mean, I am going to keep a couple for myself. So I don't know, I might have 5 or 6, depending on the germination. Now Johnny's did check their germination rate, and on the packet it said 78%. So they're telling us it's not 100%, so there is extra seed. Now these 2 cells are empty, so I could put something else in there. And for right now, I'm just going to mark that off. So I remember that those 2 are empty. And I can use it to put something in it later or whatever I decide to do. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 10 cells, and these are a deeper cell. So next I want to do my rosemary. And these seeds are a little bit bigger. So that's going to go over here in these 12. And with the rosemary, I'm actually going to put little divots in here. And I just use the pen. Let's see if I can move this more down. And these seeds I got from Baker's Creek. And in each hole, I'll probably put like 2. And I'm not going real deep. I mean, they're not a really big seed, so like a 1/4 inch. And rosemary does take a while to germinate. And I've grown rosemary for a few years now, and it does take a while. I mean, sometimes I think I'm not even getting any. So I'm putting more than 1 seed in the hole because I don't think the germination rate is all that great either. Okay, and then I'm just gonna lightly cover the hole, a little bit of the soil. And if I find any large sticks, I just take them out, or large pieces of wood. Okay, so that is, got the stevia in, I got the rosemary, and you got to make sure you do your markers. And I also put the date. So rosemary, I think it's January 28th. 1/28. Rosemary, 1/28. And then I have another 12 cells, which I think I will be putting in a 6-pack. I'll probably do the celery. And then I have another 6-pack, but I might do 12 for the sage. Days to germinate 7 to 21. So I'll probably do a 12-pack of sage. So I'm not going to bore you with that, but let me see how big these seeds are. And these seeds are a little bit bigger, but you're going to still go about a 1/4 inch divot. You know, I just use the pen and just make a little divot. And the sage, I'll probably make 2 divots, and in each hole I'll do the same and put like 2 or 3 seeds, and then I can thin them down. They don't have on here the germination rate on these, so, but that's what I'm going to do next. So that's about it as far as, you know, how I'm planting and why I'm starting early with some of these. The stevia, the rosemary. The other thing I wanted to do is the lettuce, which I'm going to put it in a smaller cell because these will be up potted, so that is smaller. And the lettuce, same thing. Put a little divot with my top of pen, and then I'll pre-moisten the soil, and then I'll probably put 3 seeds in a cell for the lettuce. And then after they germinate, I will be removing 2 I'll only want one lettuce start in each cell. And once they get big enough, I'm going to move them into another pot. And another thing with lettuce, you know, it's green leaves and you think, okay, I'm going to give it all nitrogen, but don't, because that will just make your lettuce bitter. So you want a well balanced fertilizer. So when I uppot that, I use Trifecta Plus. And so I will be putting that in my little pots when I uppot them. And I'm starting now, and like I said, I can move it out to the greenhouse, but I want these to form the head. So that's why I'm thinning it, we'll be thinning it down to 1 per cell. And then when I transplant these, I'll be putting them like probably 6 inches apart. So that is how I'll be doing the lettuce. And I'm going to show you how the onion's doing, and also the cut and come again lettuce. I'll show you what I mean with that. And okay. Okay, so here is the experiment that I did with the onions. And these onions were from 2022. I'm going to experiment with the 2019 just because I want to see what the germination rate is. But I think that did pretty good. And these were from 2023. And then I have Red Ruby over here and Walla Walla. So all the onions are starting to come up. And these, I can move them out to the greenhouse. And then probably in March, mid-March, I'll be putting these in my raised beds. And so I want to show you, these are the experimental Craig's Grande pepper and also the Ace 55, which I will be uppotting a couple of these. But I want to show you, these were directly under the garden light, grow light. And see how nice that stem looks? That's what you're looking for. So I've been adding worm casting liquid when I water these. I add it about once a week. And the peppers, I'll uppot a couple of those, and I'll be adding the Trifecta Plus to those. But those are really healthy. So, you know, again, you want to make sure they're under your green light to give them a nice stem, strong stem. And also, you know, you can move them around like that. That makes them stronger. You know, or put a fan on them, because the movement just makes them stronger. And so I think that's it. And I'm going to show you my cut and come again lettuce real quick. So these I started January 8th. And I already cut this and have been eating that lettuce. So you're not cutting the whole down to the root. And this will all grow back again. And that's what I have over here. And my spinach, I've been picking it off and adding to salads. I added it to my eggs yesterday. And I have arugula growing in another area. And I'll show you that real quick too. So I wanted to show you this. This is a shelving that I got. And here are the grow lights that I have here. And so I have 4 shelves with the grow lights. There's the arugula. That was started January 12th. So that looks really good. And, you know, arugula is really good. Put in your salads. You know, you can add it to eggs. If you know, I scramble them and add it. Also the spinach, a little bit of feta cheese, really good. And so there you go. So the reason why I'm starting the other lettuce is because I want the head, which I will be separating. So, okay, so that's what I'm doing today. And the rosemary, I just want to let you know that that is a frost hardy plant, but it does take up to 28 days to germinate. And they do recommend that you seed heavily. Let's see how they word it here. Oh, so thickly. So, because it does have spotty germination, and yes, I can attest to that. That's true. So anyhow, I got my rosemary done. I did start this now because of the days of germination. I also started my stevia, and that does take a while to germinate also. And so probably like in another month, I will be moving these out into my greenhouse. I'm thinking I'm going to be opening my greenhouse probably in March. So February is right around the corner, and spring is right around the corner. So I know everybody's itching to get their fingers in the dirt. So if planting onions helps you with that, also planting rosemary, if you're going to do that, you can start that now. It is frost hardy, not a heavy snow, not a heavy freeze. So, if you're only doing a couple plants and it gets nice out, you could take them outside. And if there's going to be a frost, just bring them back in. Unless you have a greenhouse, you can put them out there. But if it is going to be a heavy freeze, I would turn my heaters on out in the greenhouse. So hopefully that was helpful, and thank you so much for stopping back. And that's it for now, and I'll keep you posted on how everything's going. And have a wonderful day, and I will talk to y'all later. All right, bye.